Hello everybody. Monte Carlo, April 2024. That morning, the skies over Port Hercules looked slightly different. Not because of the usual parade of yachts or the gleaming supercars lining the harbor, but because of the soft, rising sound of tack beer echoing from the balcony of a luxury apartment in the heart of Monaco. People began to gather. Not to watch Formula One, nor to step into a casino, but to attend a quiet Islamic study session held by a small group of young converts. They recited the Quran, some with trembling voices, others still stumbling over the Arabic, but their faces glowed. There was an unfamiliar peace in the air. Monaco, the tiny principality on the southern coast of France, was witnessing something previously unimaginable in its modern history, a wave of residents and newcomers embracing Islam. In a place once thought impossible for faith to thrive, Islam was now finding a new home. I used to gamble every night. Now I wake up for Fajr prayer. I found my purpose here, said Pierre Alexandre, a former casino manager who has since traded his expensive suits for a simple white robe. We interviewed him on a rooftop overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, a spot where he once sipped wine while planning business deals. Today, it has become a place of remembrance, Majlis Dika. This spiritual shift didn't happen overnight. Since early 2024, the number of converts has surged, gradually at first, then exponentially. From one person a month to dozens, then hundreds, and now thousands. In recent weeks, reports have even claimed over 1 million people have embraced Islam in Monaco and surrounding regions, including among expats and the European elite. The phenomenon has shocked even religious leaders. We never expected Monaco to be the epicenter of a revival, said Sheikh Umar al-Habib, a Moroccan scholar who was invited to Monte Carlo for a lecture. People here are thirsting for peace, and they're finding it in Islam. One of the most viral moments occurred in early February, when Italian fashion influencer Giulia De Lion posted a photo of herself wearing a hijab in front of the Monte Carlo casino. The caption read, "I have found the light. I choose Islam." The post received over 11 million likes in 24 hours and triggered a massive wave of curiosity. Search engines were flooded with questions like, "What is Islam? Why are so many people converting in Monaco? How to become a Muslim?" Since then, the movement has become unstoppable. Each week, the small mosque in the Condomine district overflows with worshippers. Public spaces have been repurposed for congregational prayers. Even luxury hotel ballrooms have turned into halls of Islamic study. Eventually, the phenomenon caught the attention of Monaco's royal government. But instead of resisting it, Prince Albert II initiated an interfaith dialogue and officially granted permission for the construction of the first Grand Mosque in central Monte Carlo, a historic move that shifted the world's gaze toward Monaco, not for racing, but for a spiritual renaissance. "We want Monaco to be a home for all faiths, including Islam," stated a palace spokesperson during a press conference broadcast live across international networks. Monaco is no longer just a playground of casinos. It is slowly, but surely, becoming a new spiritual haven, a magnet for seekers of truth. And this is just the beginning. Monte Carlo, June 2024, in the grand courtyard of the iconic Grand Casino, where millions of euros usually change hands in seconds, hundreds of people stood in a circle. Not for gambling. Not for a concert. Not for an elite party. They stood in solemn silence, some weeping, others smiling in relief. They were reciting the Shahada. Together. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. The sound of takbir echoed, cutting through the calm of the city. Cameras from international media recorded the historic moment non-stop. Among the new converts were celebrities, Formula One drivers, even young nobles from Eastern Europe. Monaco, once known as a symbol of global hedonism, had now become an open stage for divine awakening. This wave of conversion didn't just include locals. Migrant workers from North Africa, Indonesia, Pakistan, and Senegal, once seen only as hotel staff or dockhands, now stood shoulder to shoulder with the upper class in the same prayer rows. Social status dissolved in the prostration of unity. I saw my boss, a man who never believed in God, cry every night while reading the Quran. "This isn't just any miracle," said Fathi, a hotel worker from Tunisia who's lived in Monaco for 8 years. According to the Monaco Interfaith Council, from January to mid-June 2024, 1.4 million people in the Monaco French Riviera region have embraced Islam. An average of 6,000 people recite the Shahada daily, both in private and public. Demand for new Muslim classes has risen by over 800% in just 5 months. One of the most shocking moments came during a post-race press conference at the Monaco Grand Prix, when young French F1 driver Julien Moreau, famously known as the Speed Prince, paused mid-interview and suddenly declared his conversion to Islam in front of thousands of spectators and millions of live viewers. "Speed used to be my life. But Islam taught me to slow down and listen to my heart," he said, removing his helmet and revealing a fresh tattoo of Allah's name etched across his chest. The video racked up over 300 million views in just 2 weeks. It sparked a global wave of reactions, from full-throated support to fiery debate in the racing world. But one thing was clear: people were beginning to see Islam differently. Many who embraced Islam said they started out just curious. Some picked up the Quran as part of a spiritual research project. Others stumbled across Dawa podcasts in French and English. But over time, that curiosity became conviction. "I just wanted to understand how Islam could change people so deeply. But the more I studied it, the more I couldn't let go," said Claire Montel, a yoga teacher who now leads sticker-based meditation classes for Western audiences. As the wave of conversion intensified, Muslim communities across Europe stepped up. Islamic organizations from various countries began sending support, Quran translations, scholars, teachers, and volunteers to lead beginner classes in faith, prayer, and Arabic. Even some 5-star hotels began offering prayer rooms and halal cuisine as part of their cultural adaptation to Monaco's ongoing spiritual transformation. What was once dismissed as a temporary trend has become a deeply rooted spiritual movement, organized, sincere, and growing. Behind the glamour of Monte Carlo's luxury, there was a thirst for truth, now finally being quenched. And perhaps the most surprising part? These new Muslims aren't just accepting Islam, they're reviving it, with a spirit that is pure, compassionate, and free from blind fanaticism. The Islam they bring is one that is gentle, enlightening, and liberating. Today, the adhan, once faint from a hidden apartment speaker, grows louder. The takbir is no longer a foreign sound in Monaco. It has become part of the city's heartbeat. As the wave of converts grew, social media became the main bridge for change. From TikTok to YouTube, content about Islam, from halal lifestyle, migration, hijra, morning dhikr, to study vlogs, went viral among young Europeans. Fashion influencers started showcasing collections of hijabs and modest gowns as the newest trend. Local baristas crafted halal coffee free from alcohol. Even renowned Monaco designers launched a modest wear line called Noor de Monte Carlo. People say Islam restricts freedom. But I actually feel free after wearing the hijab, said Camille Rousseau, a former top model now actively preaching through daily vlogs and women's fiqh online classes. More than just a trend, Islam became a new way of life in a world lost in direction. The pinnacle of this transformation is the construction of the Grand Mosque of Monte Carlo, right in the heart of the city long known as a symbol of worldly luxury. Built on the former site of a contemporary art gallery, the mosque combines grand yet modern design, fusing classical Islamic architecture with minimalist European touches. "We're not just building a mosque. We're building a bridge between hearts," said Dr. Yusuf Amrani, the chief architect of the project. Scheduled for completion by late 2025, the project enjoys full support from the royal family. Monaco is no longer just known as the land of billionaires, yachts, and F1 racing. It has become the most surprising symbol of spiritual revival of this century. Youth who once lived in the shadow of materialism now memorize the Quran. Those who once doubted God now shed tears in prostration. The economy still thrives. The races go on. But now, there is a pause, time for prayer, time to remember Allah, and time to share. We're not leaving the world. We're just finding new ways to live in it, with meaning, said Imran Devereaux, a former stockbroker turned Quran teacher. Islam did not come by force. It came like the Monaco sea breeze, gentle, touching, soothing. No one ever expected this tiny land of luxury to become the harbor for millions of hearts returning to God. Now Monaco is known not just on the world map, but also on the map of the heavens. A tiny dot shining with the great light of faith. Monaco has changed. Not by power, but by the truth finally heard.